Local 4 News starts now with a breaking news alert.
We've lost a hero tonight. Those words coming from Detroit Police Chief James White after one of his officers is shot and killed on the city's west side. We're glad you're with us tonight at 11. The chief and Mayor Duggan addressing the media just about an hour ago at Sinai Grace Hospital, announcing the death of the officer, a 5-year veteran of the Detroit PD.
The gunman who shot and killed the officer was also killed. It happened in the area of Joy Road in Marlow. That's been a heavy police presence there all night.
We have team coverage coming up here at 11. Pamela Osborne live on the scene. We're going to begin, though, with Victor Williams live at Sinai Grace. A tragic night for not just the entire department, but for the entire city. Victor.
Right, Devin, this is not the news that we wanted to be reporting tonight at all. Just like you guys said, a police officer shot and killed by someone who was randomly shooting a Draco assault rifle in broad daylight. Officers were responding. As soon as they got there, the officer was shot and killed. It was actually his partner returning gunfire, shooting and killing the suspect also. But obviously a very rough night all around. Family members as well as all the higher-ups were gathering right here at the entrance of Sinai Grace Hospital as they were patiently waiting for an update, just like we were from the police chief. And he came out and actually told us this was a 5-year veteran. This was someone who also came from a very long line of police officers as well. So as you can imagine, that family is just torn up. And we also were able to speak to both the police chief and mayor about what they had to say about gun violence right now being such a hot topic and how it's a real problem, not only for our nation, but for us right here at home.
I think, the violence in this country is outrageous. The assaults against police officers is outrageous. And tonight we lost a hero in our department. Regardless of where you stand on what side of political aisle you're on this issue of gun violence, it's entirely too much gun violence in the city, too much gun violence in this country, and now we've got an officer who has paid the ultimate sacrifice, putting his life on the line for you and me, every single day. And officers are doing it right now, even after this call. Enough is enough.
Was this suspect someone who's known to law enforcement?
I don't know who he is. What I know right now is he shot one of our officers and he killed one of our heroes.
There is so much violence. It seems like there's nowhere in this country that you can be safe, but there's people who don't believe that. They're police officers, and they have a calling. They believe that they can protect us, and the Detroit police officers every day confront the most violent people in this community in order to protect the rest of us. I just spent time with the family who described our fallen officer as somebody who had a calling for the community and was doing what he loved. And we owe a debt of gratitude to all the officers out there working, and tonight we have an officer and a family with a debt that we can never repay. But this entire city is holding the family in their hearts tonight, and we will be with them every step of the way.
You could really feel the sense of grief just out here in the air as we saw many family members crying, as well as many other officers that were here just trying to hug each other and give each other support at this very rough time. We know the officer's name is not being released, but we can probably expect that to happen at some point tomorrow. For now, we are reporting live from Sinai Grace Hospital. Victor Williams, Local 4.
Indeed. Okay, Victor, we appreciate it. And we want to get to our Pamela Osborne, who is live at the scene near Joy and Marlow. And Pam, you've been reporting live there for us all night when we first broke into our coverage on air and on Local 4 Plus. Tell us what the current status is there now.
Well, Kimberly, police continue to hold this scene. We're about a block away from Marlow, which is where we know this deadly encounter first began, at Marlow and Joy Road. As we heard, it started with a man armed with an assault rifle indiscriminately firing shots. Within minutes, Detroit police officers were on the scene. One of those responding officers was shot. His partner returned fire, shooting and killing that suspect here on the scene. As you can imagine, it has been such a tough day for officers as word of their fellow officers' condition began to move through the ranks here at the scene. We saw prayers, utter shock and disbelief on the faces of these officers who stopped to console one another. It is a large scene. It is a quiet scene, one that investigators are actively working right now. On the other side of this tape is the physical evidence of what took place here. There were at least a half dozen evidence markers on Joy Road. Not far from that was what appeared to be a body covered by a street. Now, there are still so many unanswered questions at this hour. Who was the suspect? Why was he shooting that assault rifle? Police are no doubt working to find the answers to those questions at this hour. And it's not just the police officer's family, the entire department that is grieving and really feeling this tonight. There are people who live in this community who heard the commotion, came out, saw some of what happened here, and are afraid and wondering, is there a safe place for them here if our own police officers are not safe? That is the very latest from the scene here tonight. I'm Pamela Osborne, Local 4.
Yeah. A valid question, and a question that I think all across this nation, so many of us are asking about our safety. Pam, we appreciate it.
We spoke this evening with retired Assistant Detroit Police Chief Steve Dolan. We've turned to him time and time again over the years. He has dealt with more than his share of incidents like this one.
And he shared how deeply a tragedy like this affects every police officer in the department as well as their loved ones.
You go into work, think you're going home at night, and you kiss your husband and your wife goodbye, say, I'll see you at the end of the shift. And they always say, be careful. And you say, I got this. I'm always careful. Don't worry about me. And they do worry about you. And the problem the officers don't realize is that while you're out on the street, your loved ones are home and worried about you every night. And when this phone call comes in, phones are blowing up and they're trying to reach you and you're not answering the phone. It's the worst feeling in the world because your heart just drops.
The worst feeling in the world, indeed. The chief saying the worst day for the families who he has to tell this horrible news. All right, right now at clickondetroit.com, we've posted the entire news conference given by Chief White and Mayor Duggan for anyone who wants to go there and watch it.
You'll want to stay dialed in because we're going to be tracking what we expect will be a flurry of new developments as we continue to learn more, not just over these next couple of hours, but over these next few days as well.
Yeah, we'll be right back with a look at some of the other stories making news today. Stay with us.